Welcome to episode 232, an interview with Marianne, VA of the year 2025.
Before we introduce Marianne officially, Joe, I hope we remember how to do this because it's been a while since we've recorded an episode.
It has been since April. That is quite a long time. Yeah, sorry, everyone. Who knows how well this is going to go? Sorry, Marianne, if we absolutely balls this up, but I'm sure it'll be like riding a bike.
But what a way to come back with the 2025 Virtual Assistant of the Year, Marianne Wullings. Marianne, you took out top performing team member, top creative virtual assistant, and then, of course, the biggie, VA of the Year. Welcome, and thank you for coming on and telling your story.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, it was a shock to say the least. I don't know if I've actually processed it yet, to be honest. I don't think I've tried.
I feel like all the VAs that have won this award that have come on to the podcast, they've all said exactly the same thing, like still processing it, didn't expect it, like came out of nowhere. What the fuck's going on in my life now?
Yeah, pretty much.
Because it's like an identity like shift that you need to step into, right? Being the VA of the year, and like this is not something you would have experienced before. So yeah, it's expected that it is something that's hard to comprehend, but I'm sure you'll get there, Marianne.
I think there's been too much else going on that I haven't actually had a chance to sit down and really process it, nor have I even really tried. But yeah, I mean, it is different. It wasn't actually on the cards at all for me. Like I didn't even think about it. Sure, I entered the awards, but that was those categories, and those I was kind of interested in and was really excited about. And this one just came out of the blue.
Well, we're very excited for you. So well done. Big congrats.
Yeah. Well, when you were entering this year, because this is not the first year that you've entered, when you're entering this year, what was the goal? What was your thought process? Was there an award that you really, really wanted to take home?
Yeah, so this is the third year I've actually entered the awards. Top Creative VA was definitely one of them, considering that's all I do. So that was definitely one of the ones that I was interested in. Actually, Niche was the other one that I entered that I didn't even get finalists for. That was the other one that I was actually really interested in. But that's all right. Those were sort of the two. I mean, I've been nominated by Toya for 3 years in a row, finalist for this. This is the second one. And then the first year I was finalist as well. So that one was definitely something that I think more for, actually for both of us, I think, because we have done so much together that was actually one that I was also interested in. But yeah, creative and niche were the two that I was really the most.
I mean, the niche one is the most popular category to enter. Like it has the most entries. It is the biggest award in terms of like how many people really want that one. So yeah, to give you some context on that.
Oh no, that's fine. Like I was, I entered four awards this year, which is the most that I've ever entered. And then surprise for the community contributor. So I got finalists for 4, so 3 out of the ones that I applied for, and then the community contributor one, which I was really surprised about, to be honest, because I don't feel like I'm that active in the group. But obviously I am.
Well, your peers clearly think you are. So yeah, congrats on being a finalist on that one too.
Yeah. Okay, let's take us back, Marianne, because I feel like you've got a really interesting backstory in terms of your experience, your life before stepping into the VA space, because you're a teacher by trade, right?
Yeah. Yep, I definitely am. So I was actually a high school dropout. I failed sixth form, or I was at a Cambridge school back then, so I failed AS levels. And swore at the age of 16, almost 17, that I'd never, ever, ever go back to school. My dad and I had a huge fight about it. It was very interesting. and then went into office admin and then office management for about 6-7 years. Got made redundant in the 2008 recession. It was really hard to find a job with no qualifications because I had a certificate, but I didn't have anything. And so I decided that I was going to go to uni. Surprisingly, got in, which was because I had no level 2, so what are now level 2s. So generally wouldn't have had to do a bridging paper, but got in, did a history and ancient history degree, which I loved. I'm not quite sure what you're supposed to do with it after you've finished uni. So went back into office management for a year, hated it, like absolutely hated it. Was like, I'm not doing this anymore. And I just randomly was like, okay, well, what do I do with my degree? And I was like, let's just try being a teacher. Like, it wasn't a dream, it wasn't a, passion, it wasn't a calling. It was just, I don't know really what to do, so let's try it. And I loved it. I really, really loved it. And then it became a passion, like it really did. And I did that for almost 10 years.
What did you
at various
in
schools
high
in
school?
Auckland. I taught social studies, senior social studies, history, and classical studies. Yeah, so which are schools? Senior social studies is amazing. Still my favourite subject ever. But yeah, so I did that at various schools throughout New Zealand, and well, not New Zealand, sorry, Auckland, and really loved it. Spent most of my time at a Decile 2 school in South Auckland, and just working with teenagers. I worked with mainly with senior students, so year 11, 12, and 13. Was just really good building those connections, those relationships, watching them, learn and get it and graduate, and helping them sort of with their future pathways. I did a lot of pastoral care work, as you can imagine, at a low decile school. So that was really sort of amazing. Like I loved it. Yeah. But then things changed. Like I suffer from chronic nerve pain down both my legs due to 3 herniated discs in my lumbar spine. And it got bad. My kids were really good about it because they would watch me walk into class and they would, see me in pain, and they were really understanding and good about it. I eventually left Alfriston and moved to Maharangi College up in Warkworth. I wanted a bit of a change and I wanted to move into leadership. And then COVID hit and I had to work from home, and I was working from my couch.
Oh.
And because I lived in a small 2-bedroom apartment, which I also love, by the beach, which is great. But it just wasn't set up for working from home. Like I work from home, but teachers do a shitload of work. So I, marked and I planned and did all of that. But all of those things I could sort of just randomly do in my house. And yeah, I had to work from my couch, and my spine didn't like that very much. So then after COVID, after the first lockdown, went back to work, couldn't walk properly, was using a walking stick, was like having to lie down on my office floor. I'd get to work and I'd just lie down on the floor because I couldn't move anymore. I was teaching from the front of the class in my chair, which wasn't me. As you can probably imagine, I used to bounce around the classroom. I used to teach from my whole classroom, so I used to just be everywhere. And then I felt like I was a shit teacher at that point. And I went to my head of faculty at one point, and I was like, I'm not doing this right. She's like, you're actually fine. Like, she's like, that I get that that's your impression, but the kids are still achieving, the things are still happening, you're still teaching, but I just didn't feel good. So I took 6 months medical leave to sort of work my way through what was happening to my body. Did an online course that would actually help with managing pain, so by a New Zealand pain specialist and orthopedic surgeon. And that was really good. That was actually really good because he taught like mindfulness and mind body connection and taught practices to help you sort of live with pain, not to get over it and to cure it, but to live with it and how you can manage it and mentally manage it. Because for anyone that's lived with any type of chronic pain or illness, it takes a real toll, not just on your body, but on your mind. And I think the damage had already been done to my teaching career. Like I think at that point I was like, I don't believe that I can give this my 110%. And I'm a firm believer that children only get one education and it needs to be good. So I went back to school and 6 months later I was like, I'm done.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was the end of my teaching career for a while. I went and did coaching at a not-for-profit tertiary education for second chance learners, so kids that have dropped out of school or, been kicked out of school or anything like that. And I was a pastoral care coach for students there, so I would support them with their, health order and well-being, with getting the support that they needed to actually achieve. So I did that for a year, but there wasn't really enough work, so I was a bit bored. And then I was like, I don't really know what to do now. So I started VAing on the side. Just random. Like
what kind of VA work did you do?
Well, I thought because, I was a teacher and a coach and I was like, we're good at admin. So, and I'd done admin in the past. So I was like, let's just do that. But my first ever client, who I still work with today, almost 4 years, which is very cool, was like, no, I need help with social media and my website. And I was like, okay. So I kind of just taught myself. I was like, I'd done it a little bit before because I'd done a side hustle where I was selling affirmation jars online during COVID and then after COVID. So I did that for a few years. So I knew a bit about socials and how to build up a following and things like that. So I was like, okay, cool, I can do this. So I taught myself and it obviously worked because that was the first phase of my VA business.
Holy moly! We've known you how many years, and I had no idea. I had no idea, Marianne. What a journey! What a journey to get you to that point.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. It's not easy, and I still live with it today. I'm on the waiting list for surgery next year because I've tried everything, and my goal was that I wanted to. Well, my goal, I guess, my plan was that I wanted to try absolutely everything before I had surgery. Did have a surgery in 2019, which made it all worse. So I was like, no, I'm not doing this again. But I've tried everything, dude. Like I've done traditional medicines like Chinese. I've done rumis. I've done certain things that I probably shouldn't have. Might not say that. I've done yoga. I've done Pilates. I've done exercises. I've done acupuncture. I have done mind body connection. I've done online courses. I've done everything that you can think of to try and live with this. And I'm doing quite well living with it, but I'm also just done at this point. So I was like, yeah. And my surgeon is really good. And he was like, he was also on board with my plan. But I went and saw him earlier this year and I was like, this is not getting any better. So.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So, living with chronic pain, doing this all anyway. What did that journey from having that very first client to like starting your new niche and working as a subcontractor for Toya, like how did that all come together?
So yeah, I was part of a VA sort of message board thing, not the Vans one at this stage. I hadn't come across Vans or Foundry at that point. And they used to post jobs and they would send out a weekly email And that's how I found my first client and my second client, both US clients, because it was a US based group.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it was worldwide, but yeah, predominantly US. So both US clients, both with social media, email marketing, and website support. Excuse me. And then eventually, I don't even know how, stumbled across that BAMS and was like, okay, I should probably be a member of this. So joined that. Became a bronze member first, of course, because I was like, we're going up the food chain. And Toya messaged me on Instagram and she's like, hi, I've come across you in the directory. I'd like to, have a chat. And so we did. It took a while in typical Toya fashion. She forgot to reply to my message. She was
She
like, can
needed
you
you
meet
so
in
much.
an hour? Yeah. It was like, and yeah, that was November 3 years ago. Well, it'll be 3 years this November. And we just clicked. Like, it was just, she's like, I need someone to do social media work for my building clients. So I was like, cool. And she's like, and my socials as well. This is what I want. I was like, yep, that's fine. We can do that. And it just clicked. And from day one, she kind of just let me go. Yeah. She would review things in the beginning, sort of.
Built
Not
that trust
really.
with her, right? Yeah. Coming in as the expert.
Yeah. Really, yeah, it was just easy. Like it was just really easy. At that point, I wasn't charging my clients very much because everyone knows like it's really hard in the beginning. You're like, what do I do? I'm used to this salary and now I'm just kind of going to work it out on my salary. It'll be fine. So yeah, I charge toys the same I charge my clients, which was, and then it's just been that. Then, I ended up subcontracting for Candice at Execute VA. I did some subcontracting work with Scarlett, with Kairako Afi for her website clients. And it's I kind of just moved around and was like, sure. Which was, yeah, it was good. And I think the relationships of all of them are very different because they're very different people with very different businesses. With Toya, I just do whatever I do and she doesn't really do or say much. So it was actually really interesting seeing how different agencies are run, how, they manage their workload, their clients, their processes, their systems. It's all been quite an insight. But eventually I got sick of doing socials. I really, really loved it in the beginning. I was like, yeah, I found it. Like, I'm going to do it. It's fine. And then I was like, 2 years later, I was like, I am really done with social media. And that segues into Mickie Digital, which is what it is today.
I want to talk, Marianne, a little bit about your juggle subcontracting to other VA agencies as well as, finding and managing your own client base. Because I feel like, I don't actually think we've had, Joe, have we had anyone on the episode that has done that where we've talked about the whole subcontracting and finding your own clients? I don't know if we have. Yeah. So, okay. So for those listening, Marianne, I'd love for you to talk about how you found that juggle or find that juggle, and any advice for those that are thinking about starting off subcontracting first before finding their own clients.
Yeah, so I had the juggle from the beginning, which I guess kind of just made it standard. Almost from the beginning. I got my first client in June. I started subcontracting with Toya in November. So it was, and at that point I didn't have very many of my own clients. It's difficult when you're starting out and you're not quite sure what you're doing. And I kind of just randomly started, right? Like I was just like, I can do this. So as I was building my own business and getting more clients and juggling subcontracting for Toya, and it wasn't long after that that I subcontracted for Candace, and I subcontracted for both of them for quite a while. So yeah, it's hard, especially as you get busier on both sides, because they're growing their businesses and you're growing your business, and it's there comes a point where it actually does sort of become too much. I sort of hit that point earlier this year or end of last year, really. But the jugglers, I think, because it's also, as a subcontractor, you're earning less, right? Like like agencies need to make money and they need to charge their clients. So my hourly rate now is significantly higher than what my subcontracting rate is. And that sort of sometimes becomes a bit of a difficulty too, because you're like, well, where do I want to focus my time? But my key thing was that I didn't focus on the money. But it was just that Toya's and Candace's clients were my clients. Like, I did all the face-to-face work with them, so I'd already built the relationships with them. So when I started to get busier, it wasn't that they took a back seat because, it's a subcontractor and you're not earning as much. It was, they're still they're not mine, but they're still my clients, right? So
treated them like they were yours, like looked after
I just treated them the same. So, which is very different for some people. Like, not everyone's doing face to face, not everyone has that time to build the relationships. But I just treated them like they were my clients. So their work, I did my to-do list every day and every week, and their work just went on there just like everything else. I didn't split it between agencies. I didn't split it between clients or, my work. I just popped in on the list like everyone else. But it is a juggle. And yeah, and that's why I slowly started to move away a little bit more. So I still subcontract for Toya. I don't subcontract for Candace anymore. Although I am coming in for her holiday leave this month. But she's going
Are you struggling
back
to
home.
say no? Is that one of your things, Marianne?
Oh yeah, just a little. She's going back home for a month with her whole family, and she just needed someone to take over the socials who actually just knew it, rather while she's looking at hiring someone else to take over. So I am doing a month cover, but otherwise, no, I don't. I haven't since May subcontracted with Candace anymore. I still subcontract with Toya. But that is, as you probably know, we're hiring a junior to take that over so that I don't have to anymore. But yeah, but it is definitely a struggle, and it became more of a struggle when I decided that I actually just didn't want to do socials anymore. Because most of my subcontracting work is socials. So then it became...
Okay, so you make the decision, right, I don't want to do socials anymore, and I'm going to not subcontract as much. And at what point did you come through Launch in 30 Days? Because I'd love to talk about like that course that you did with the VA Foundry. Like, what was the decision for doing that? And at what kind of point did you realize, actually, I need to do the course to get my foundations in place and move forward in my own business?
Yeah, so that was last year, right? Last year? August? Last year?
I feel like it might be the year before.
Or was it 2 years ago? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, it is. Yes, no, because last year we were doing the coaching. Right.
Yeah.
Crap. Okay, yeah, 2 years ago. Okay. I'm pretty sure it was either a post in Vans or it was a Instagram story on the Foundry page. And you guys had done something about Launch in 30 Days, and I was like, what even is this? So I went and had a look, and it was the VIP version that you were promoting. So I went and had a look, and I was like, I need to sort of... My business, just like I've said already, it just became what it was, and I subcontracted a lot, and which had been great because I got experience in how other people would set up their business. But my business had no systems and processes, really. Like, it just was. And I knew I wanted to build up more of my own client base. So when I saw it and I went and had a look at the most epic landing page ever,
Thank you.
It's very impressive. I went and had a look, and then I messaged Sam, and I was like, would this suit? Because it's a launch course, right? And I was like, I'd already launched, like technically, I guess, when technically probably not, but would this work? And we had a bit of a back and forth about, where am I in my business? Like, what is, what my systems and processes look like, all of that. And she said there'll be parts of it that you'll already know. You've been doing this for a year and a half, I think, at that point. So there'll definitely be parts of it that you already know, but there will also be parts that will be really beneficial for you to actually bring some structure and planning and marketing and all of that into your business. So I signed up. It was really as easy as that.
Yeah,
I guess I just needed.
Oh, sorry. I remember that conversation really well, and because we'd really only just launched it, I'm pretty sure it was the first kind of round that we'd done. But out of was it the second. But out of everybody that came through in that round, you were the one that I was most nervous about, I guess, like delivering and impressing, because I think you were the first one that did the course that had already launched. So even though we were 99% certain that you would still get a shit ton of value from it, there was still that little voice that goes, oh, but she's already been doing it a year and a half. What if she's disappointed in the content? What if, all of those self-doubts and those little voices. So
yeah,
like I really wanted to impress you, Marianne. It was like, Marianne, we're on to a good thing, I reckon.
So Marianne, the question then is, were you impressed?
I was actually. I mean, there was definitely, Sam was right. There were parts of it that I knew and that weren't as I guess important or relevant to me and where I'd been in my journey. But no, there were definitely things that I'd never even thought of. And the resources that were available, I mean, I still use them sometimes. I go and pull up one of the work to help me write an email or, just be like, actually, how did I word this before, or what should I actually put in it? What process should I do? So I still go back and look at them every once in a while, not as much anymore, but I still have them there. But I think it was definitely beneficial because it made me structure my business and actually structure it as a business, whereas I'd kind of almost just been doing it as a side hustle. Like it was just there. It was what I did, but I hadn't put strategy or thought or, processes behind it to make it easier for me to manage and work and know what to do and how to track things. And so, yeah, I mean, I still use the Airtable for my clients. Cool. Still got that. But yeah, so no, it definitely was worth it. I think I'm really glad I did the VIP. We were the second round, and the only reason I know that is because Amber was in the first round. So we were the second round. I'm really glad I did the VIP because I think those one-on-one calls every week for the 30 days were what tied it all together. They really, they were just, and having all your guys' comments and support on all the challenges we did every day. Yeah, it was good. It was really good.
And so is that when you then realised that you wanted to niche and choose a specialty? Or did that come later? Maybe we told you, we're like, oh, you should really niche. Maybe you didn't believe us yet? No? Tell us how this happened.
No. This happened. I was driving to Hamilton to see Toya for, I don't actually know what. I don't know. I was going down to Hamilton to see Toya. I think it might have been like our end of year thing because it was after launch in 30 days. So it would have been, I'm pretty sure it was around November or something. So it would have probably been our end of year lunch or something. And I was driving down to Hamilton to see Toya, and I was listening to the Sam and Joe podcast. And I, being the person that I am, had gone back to episode 1. Was like, I'm starting from the beginning. Like I'm gonna consecutively listen to this from day dot. I'm not coming in at episode 200 and whatever it was at that point. Because then I was like, I'll miss stuff. So there were definitely ones I skipped, like What's a VA and like all of those. I skipped a whole bunch. But it was one of your guest episodes, and I can't remember which one, but it was in the first sort of 50 somewhere. I'm pretty sure. And she was talking about how teachers actually have a lot of skills and knowledge that are really easily transferable into, you know, whether it's a virtual assistant business or any business that they do. And that they should really think about what it is that they want their business to be. And she was just she had a whole spiel about it. And I sat there in my car driving I hate that motorway, but driving on that motorway somewhere between Bombay and Hamilton, and I was like, what the hell am I doing? Why have I not done a business that brings my expertise and, you know, my teaching skills into my business? Like, why haven't I done this? This seems really logical. And I felt really stupid for a moment. Like, I was sitting there like, you're an idiot. You're just an idiot. Like, I don't know why you haven't done this. And I kind of had like this light bulb epiphany moment driving down to Hamilton to see Seea, and I was like, yeah, I basically was like, you're an idiot, you should have done this already. And then I messaged Sam, I think, again. Sam's always the one I messaged. I'm like,
Sam in your pocket?
Yeah, pretty much. I messaged Sam and I was like, I think I should do this. And she's like, you should.
Immediately yes. Immediate yes. No hesitation. Like,
right. She was like, you should. She's like, that just makes sense. Like, why? Like, yep. And then I was like, had another you're an idiot moment. But it took a while until that point. So that was November. I started working with you guys in April.
Mm-hmm.
I think that whole end of the year thing, I'd been thinking about it. I was like, I know I need to do this, but it's just, yeah.
So
it
let's
took another sort of 6
context who's listening. Like, what specifically are you talking about that you now do that is using your teaching skills?
So I'm an online course in Kajabi expert. I help coaches and consultants I help coaches and consultants plan and set up and launch their online courses. So I do everything from taking the ideas and putting them into a plan and a strategy to what content needs to go in them, to helping them build and create the content, to what content doesn't need to go into a course, because there is so much that you should not put into a course or into like a specific course. Setting it up, creating the content, the video editing, all of that, setting it up on their chosen platform. I predominantly use Kajabi, but I have clients on other platforms as well. And then helping them launch it.
Because I mean, the teaching background would come into this, right? Because you know how to teach people things so that they can absorb it and get it and understand. So, like, what is the special sauce that you help them with? Like, how does that special sauce work?
It definitely comes from the teaching background. Like, it definitely comes from. And I think also like the structure, the planning and the strategy that goes into it. So my services are done with you service. It's not done for you. So I work really closely with the coach or consultants because they're an expert in their field. I'm an expert in mine, but I'm not an expert at, you know, coaching, you know, being a life coach or being a language expert or being a financial educator. But like, I'm not an expert in those fields. So I work very closely with my clients. But it is the structure and the strategies. It's bringing in that this is like your course needs to flow. It needs to have a natural progression. Like anything that we teach, it needs to start with the basics. They might know it already, but it needs to be there. And then it needs to flow till it gets to that end point, and it needs to strategically do that while also having engaging content and activities and lessons and things that they can do to embed that learning, whatever that learning is, and use that learning. And I don't know about you, but I've done a number of really shit online courses in my time.
I mean, the pressure for us to deliver a really amazing course with launch in 30 days, like, did we deliver well? Was ours
Yes,
structured
you
well?
did. You did. Some of the videos were a little long, but
Critique time.
but you did. But yeah, so like but lots of people have had experience doing courses where they could have just, watched a YouTube video or figured it out themselves, or, got ChatGPT now to tell them how to do this. Like, so it needs to be something that's engaging, but that's also strategic. Because if you just chuck content in there and it has no result at the end, or it doesn't do what it's promised, or you don't deliver what you've promised that you're going to do, whether that's, changing a mindset or helping them make their first investment or whatever it is, but everything needs to flow to that end goal. And if it doesn't, and it's random, and it's then, so yeah, that my teacher brain does all of that.
Amazing addition to a service that other people are offering, but they don't have that secret sauce that you have in terms of the teaching background. So I think it's a great mix. Very valuable for your clients.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people go, a course? Yeah, I can do a course, having absolutely no idea of what actually goes into making a course that converts well and delivers, right? Yeah.
Yep. It's a lot of work. Like it seems easy. It really does, because it should be, right? Well, I mean, it looks easy when you take one. Like, it's the videos and some workbooks and, and an activity here and there. So, yeah, I mean, it looks easy once it's done, but there's a lot that actually comes into it. And not everyone is a teacher.
Yeah,
like, it's not easy to teach people things. Like, we can all tell people things, but to actually get them to a point where they are absorbing, using, getting that moment of, like, this is relevant, or this is actually gets the outcome, and they get to that outcome, that's a skill.
Yeah. And a balance, right? Getting that balance between giving them, all the knowledge that they need, but without overwhelming them either.
Yep.
Really hard. Really hard. What a great niche. Why Kajabi? Is Kajabi, like, you had to play around in terms of different platforms?
No, that was Joe's fault.
I mean, it's a great platform. It's a great platform. We use it.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, Joe said that you should choose a platform, and I was just like, she's like, we use Kajabi, so if you need some help with that, you can have a look. And I looked, and like, there's so many. There's high level, used to be Go High Level, now High Level, Learn Worlds, Teachable, Udemy. Like, there are so many online course platforms. So, which one do you choose? And I was like, meh, it's just easy. I was like, Joe can tell me what I need to do. So,
well, sometimes it is, right? It's just like, choose one and go with it. Be the expert in that, because there are clients that will use all the different options. So you'll get clients no matter which one you choose.
Well, that's the thing. That's really Joe. Sorry, Marianne. I was just going to say that I think that's one of the things that puts a lot of virtual assistants off from going all in on a niche like you've done. Like, headline on your website, it's very clear, Kajabi expert, I think, is in your headline. But for some virtual assistants, they're really afraid to go all in on their niche, that they're going to then put off other clients. But you're proof that that's just not the case. You have other clients that are still attracted to you for whatever reason. They still want you to help them, but they use other platforms, and that's okay. Because once you know one, you kind of know them all as well.
They're all much of a muchness, right? Yeah. Like, almost all of them do the same thing, and they do it in very similar ways. So and if you're tech savvy, and I, not to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty tech savvy. So you'll go in there and it'll take me half an hour to play around and figure it out. But after that, I've, got it pretty sus. But yeah, so yeah, no, it hasn't put clients off. And I think I've changed the way I talk about my business a little bit. Like I don't just focus on Kajabi. Like sure, it's in there. Like I call myself an online course and Kajabi expert. So it is in there, and Kajabi is the platform that I know the best. But I've got clients that I've like on Learn Worlds, Systemio, High Level, like I've used all three. I'm just about to sign another client with it that's using Ivory, which I'm pretty sure is a white labeled High Level.
Yeah, it is.
So, but because I bring the rest of it, it's more that I think there's more value in that. Like the tech setup is the tech setup. Like it's not actually the main component of your online course.
Yeah, no, exactly. You can deliver a course on any of the platforms. Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to deliver a course through email.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you don't have to deliver. You don't even have to have a platform. Like,
so Marianne, you had your epiphany in the car on the way down to Hamilton. You were like, "Oh, why didn't I think of this sooner?" We messaged, we chatted, and then you book it to a series of one-on-ones with us, right? To then help you through it, guide you through it.
Yeah, because I'd never really niched. I'd called myself a digital marketing or a marketing BA, like that's, and it wasn't really a niche. I mean, sure, it was marketing, but it never said who I worked with or what I really did. I just did digital marketing, which is very broad. And I wanted this to really be something that had been planned and structured and not just that I'd done because I'd done it and I was bored at work and didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So yes, I booked a 6 month I booked 6 sessions. You guys were very nice and let me do them over 10 months, I think, instead of 6. Which was great because you gave me the structure behind making it what it needed to look like. And so that when I launched it at the end of August last year, or the beginning of August last year anyway, I had a strategy, like I knew how it was going to work. I'd chosen a platform. I'd learnt that platform, like I'd gone in and I'd played and I'd, figured out what it did and didn't do. I had sort of started building a random course because I wanted to know what it would look like and how that worked. And I just, it just made it easier. And I think it also, for me, I was like, I saw the value in this. I was like, I know that this has value, like, but I love education. So I'm like, and when people do it wrong, I'm like, eh. So for me, I was like, this is great. But did anyone else see the value in it? And was I going to niche this in the right way? And how was I going to make sure that this was actually successful? And what did the packages need to look like? And, what did my services need to be? Yeah.
Because I think sometimes it's hard when you go into a niche. It's like, oh, I could do so many things in this niche and all these different packages and all these different options, and I want to try and please everyone. So I think that was one of the key things we really focused you in on, is how do you have just some very specific and clear services or packages that didn't overwhelm someone and, stopped them from being able to choose anything. We really wanted you to narrow that down and just give a few packages. So how was that process gone?
Good. I have a course setup package, which is the main one. It has a starting rate because everyone's course is different, so it looks different for everyone. That is my most used one, but to be perfectly honest, I never charge the rate that's on my website, and actually I'm thinking about changing it slightly because my packages are also personalized. Like they're not, you know, someone has 10 modules and
Mm.
5 lessons per module and
Mm.
you know wants help with video editing and doing all the workbook content and you know all of this. Some people just want, you know, have all their content ready and they're just like, okay, I've got it ready, I want you to review it and then I want you to put it in. Like it's so my yeah, I do a personalized proposal for everyone
Mm-hmm.
and they're all very different. So how that's going to look on my website in the next, when I get some time,
Mm-hmm.
12 to 6 months, who knows, or 6 to 12 months. But yeah, that's my main one. And I've just added in the last month, I've actually started to add the strategy as its own standalone thing.
Mm.
So a lot of coaches, like in consultants, they want to create an online course. They have an idea for one, but they just don't know how to get started or they've started putting things together, but it just has no strategy or planning or outline to it. So my strategy session is sitting down with them and whether they're at the idea stage or whether they've already started and they've, you know, and it's about let's build a plan. So it's almost, yeah, so it's a 90-minute sort of planning strategy session.
Mm.
You know, something that's becoming very apparent the more you talk, Marianne, is that like this just shows how businesses evolve over time and there's constant iterations and improvements and you know pivots and things. So I think like anyone listening, like this is really normal in business to change your mind, to do something different because it just doesn't feel right, to you know improve over time, to iterate, to change things around. So you don't feel like you can't change things because you are testament to like this doesn't feel right, I'm going to do something different. But I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's all been a real interesting learning journey for me because my parents had run their own businesses for years, multiple, everything from real estate to fashion to selling, you know, elastics online. So I always knew I wanted my own business. What that looked like, this is never something that I'd sort of imagined. Vague idea that it would probably be something like a brick and mortar or something because they'd always done physical things. So yeah. And I'm not sure if my life hadn't pushed me, so my body hadn't pushed me to be this whole, you need to do something different. You can't bounce around a classroom anymore. Like you just can't. You cannot be on your feet every day. You cannot be working 70 hours a week. Like you just can't. You need rest and you need to build something that works around you. And I think, you know, you used to talk about it a lot and I haven't heard it as much, but flexibility and freedom. And I think that really came into my decision, especially with launch in 30 days and wanting to actually build something that was more sustainable, that I needed something that allowed flexibility and freedom.
Yeah.
Because my body wouldn't let me do anything else.
Amazing.
How do you find it now that you've well and truly settled into your work from home business owner shoes with a great niche that we love, with your chronic illness, with the pain that you deal with? Any other virtual assistants or maybe aspiring virtual assistants, if there's someone listening to this who's going through a similar journey but really worried about how they're going to deal with their chronic pain and set up a business and then maintain that business and show up for their clients on a regular basis, like any advice for those aspiring VAs?
I think I'm lucky that the services that I do don't require me to do a 9 to 5. So I don't do admin, I don't answer calls, I don't do inbox or calendar management. Like I don't do that. I'm not a executive virtual assistant or a general admin virtual assistant. I have a bit more flexibility in how and when I show up. Even when I was doing my social media clients, you know, it's regular and I still have them, some of them. it's regular, social media content every month, but it doesn't matter when it's done. I can do it whenever, and I normally try and have it done before the last week of the month, because I do have it done before the last week of the month. So, but for time for reviews and edits, but I can do it whenever. The only thing that I really have structured is my monthly client calls. I'm very open about my journey. Well, I am starting to be more. My clients know, pretty much all of them, what I deal with. So, they're pretty understanding about the fact that there are times that I might have to change a meeting because I can't sit in my chair.
Yeah.
But I sit here with a heat pack on every day. Actually, it's in the microwave because I forgot to put it on after my call.
Just lifting up your top live on the podcast. It's fine.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, it's in the microwave because I heated it up and I was like, I'm going to put this on beforehand. But I sit here with a heat pack every day. I have bought a very good office chair because I have to, but I have the flexibility to not show up to work for a day, or to just go in for a walk or a stretch session, or lie on the couch for a day because it's too sore. So my advice personally for anyone who lives with something that they know is going to flare, they know there's going to be good days and bad days, they know that it's difficult to be consistent, is to build services that you can be flexible with.
Yeah.
So those things like you have to answer phones, or any of those sort of services that are require you to be online for however many hours, I personally wouldn't do them. And my advice would be not to do them. Because on those days where you are sore, or you are not feeling well, or life is too hard, or your body's just not cooperating, which is what it feels like most of the time, you can just be like, I don't need to do this today.
Great advice. Okay, Marianne, is there anything about your story or anything that you want to share with our listeners that we haven't covered yet?
I want to talk about money blocks, money stories, Marianne. I feel like pricing, you've edged around your whole pricing, journey. It's a journey within a journey, isn't it? Pricing.
I used to say I am terrible with money. I have done some money mindset stuff since then. So my inner child is terrible with money. And that comes back to my dad. But I have got much better after doing some mindset work and some journaling and doing sort of a bit of money shifts. I'm still not it is still not my most comfortable thing to do, or to look at, or to think about, or to log into my Xero and look at my accounts. I still don't really like it. Avoid it as much as I can, but I've now built it into my Monday routine. Mondays are my CEO days, so every Monday I log into my Xero and I do my reconciliations, and I, have a look at everything and etc. So pricing, I've got better at it. But I think it's just because I've been so tired that I'm just like, it is what it is. Like, I'm just sending it. So I work it out and based very sort of, and then I stick a markup on it, and I'm just like, that's a lot of money. And then I'm just like, yeah, but it's a lot of money. And I think I don't know if I would have done it if my second ever course client didn't pay me 10K to do her courses, 2 of them. In November, I launched Mickie Digital in August, and that happened in November. And I was just like, when I sent out the proposal, I was like, this is ridiculous. And she's going to come back and be like, that's a lot of money. we need to talk about that. But she didn't. She came back, she's like, sounds good. And I went, I was just had this moment of like, just happened. I was like, and yeah, I think if that hadn't sort of happened, I'm not sure that the shift would have been as easy. Well, I'm not sure easy is the word, but just maybe as quick in me going, actually, there is value in what I do. And now I find it much easier to just be like, this is the price. We can talk about it, sure, but this is the price.
Give you that confidence, right? That there are people who are willing to pay the value of what you're delivering for them. They see the value.
Yeah, that's amazing. You got that really early confirmation. For sure. Like that would have been the biggest kind of, yes, you're on the right track. Let's keep going. Because we see this all the time, you know, virtual assistants. Some virtual assistants will never, ever get to the point where they're confident enough to actually charge A, what they're worth, and B, in order to make it profitable. Their money blocks, their money stories, whatever it is, will always hold them back. So the fact that you've gone away, you've gone, oh, this is potentially something that's going to hold me back from being successful to meet these big financial goals that I want to meet. So I've got to do some work. I've got to do some deep work, right?
That was Joe as well. That was thanks to Joe. It was like, Marianne, you can't keep avoiding your account. Like you just can't. Like you need to go and do something about this. So yeah. I was like, fine, I will.
But like otherwise it's just going to hold you back forever, right? Like we're in business. Money is a big part of being in business, and if you don't have a handle on it, if you avoid it, it's like you're never going to achieve the financial success that you want.
No. And I had no idea what was sort of happening. Like money popped into my bank account every week, and at this point I was still using Henry, so everything was taken care of and I didn't have to think about anything. So it just was in my bank account, and I was like, okay, cool, I can do whatever I want with that. And sure, I split things into bills, and you know, I had my business bills, and I made sure that those were all paid. But otherwise, I actually just had no idea where my money was really going. And it was just, so I moved to Xero, and I kind of did some work on it. I did some work with Linda, Moore, the money mentalist, and she helped, and she was like, she helped me reframe it in the sense that it's not you that's bad with money, it's your inner child that wants to rebel because it's still stuck listening to your dad. And my parents are Dutch, and my dad is a very typical Dutch European male born in the 40s. So, you know, that inner child is still listening to him, and that had been ingrained, and it continued to be ingrained. And so when things went wrong, I acted out but the only person I'm hurting, and I remember this like really clearly, is myself, because my dad doesn't have any idea what my finances look like anymore, because we have made a rule that we do not talk about money. So I was like, he doesn't even know. So I was like, this is great.
Controlling my money without him even knowing he's controlling my money.
But it's very common, right, for our parents to have had such an impact on our money beliefs, like whether they talked about it or didn't talk about it, or whether they did it in particular ways or what ways they did it.
We get programmed as a child, don't we? Yeah.
But it's not easy. Like, it's really not easy. It was so nerve-wracking sending away that proposal for $11,000. So nerve-wracking. And I was like, I'd never seen anything bigger in my life. And I sent it and second-guessed myself. I sat on it for like 3 days. And I kept going back, and I was like tweaking it here, there, and everywhere. And then I was like, talking to my flatmate at the time, who is great because she's amazing. Like, her money, you should see her money set up. Oh my God, ridiculous. But anyway, and she was like, just send it. And I was like, I can't. Like, maybe I should take $1,000 off here, and like, you know, just. And I was sitting here, and I was just like, and she was like, you just need to send it. Like, stop tweaking it, just stop playing with it. Like, make sure you have valued this right, And well, not right, but she's like, there's obviously value in this. Just send it. So I did. Had a major freak out. Thought about it for ages. Like, continued to have a freak out because it took a week for my client to get back to me. And I was like, oh, it's done. It's like, it's just not going to happen. That's okay. You know, we live, we learn.
We do. We live, we learn. Speaking of learnings, is there anything? Well, actually, what's your biggest learning? What's your biggest learning from the past? Oh God, 4 years we're talking now? 4 years in the VA space?
There's been a lot. I think, as cliche as it is, but trust your gut. Like, it's not always comfortable, and your gut's not always comfortable either. So, you know, sending away that big proposal, niching into something like Mickie Digital and online courses, that wasn't comfortable. But having, like, the whole time and having the process, the whole time I was going through those processes, the whole time of sending these, it's not my gut that's second guessing me, it's my brain. And that stupid little inner voice inside it that is just will never shut off. And it does, my little voice goes on about everything. So I'm very used to it and I have techniques to block it. But it's that it wasn't my gut. Like, I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel like, you know, weird in my own skin, which often means that I'm doing something that I don't like or makes me really uncomfortable. That was doing all of that. It's my inner critic. So you will, like, your gut will figure it out, and it doesn't have to be instant. Like, you don't have to, like, sit here and have your epiphany and you're such an idiot moment to it has to be done right now. Like, it took me 6 months to even book a call with you guys. So after that, and then it took me another 6 months to launch it. So, you know, it is a process. I think the second thing is find your support, whatever that is. So I've been really lucky. Like, I met Toya 6 months into my business journey, and she had been in her business journey for, I think, 2 years. So, you know, she's my biz bestie, and that's been really easy because we just talk all the time, and it doesn't matter what it is. So that's been really good. And I think, you know, I've had really easy access, I think, to you two as well. So that's made my journey simpler, maybe a bit more to Sam than to Joe. No offense, Joe. But I think because Sam was always so active in the Vans community, you know, it was just natural to reach out to her and be like, I've got a question, or I don't know what I'm doing, or, you know. But just finding your support, whatever that looks like. And sometimes it has to be paid support. So, you know, sometimes you need a business coach or, you know, a money mindset coach, or, but finding that support, whether it's like, you know, your little clip, whether it's coaching, whether it's, you know, whatever it is, but having that support. I don't know if I would have got through this. Actually, I wouldn't have gotten to this point without having various tiers of support to get through it.
Yeah. I don't think anyone can be super successful in business or get what they want without the support of others. Like, it's such a vital part, and like, no one has to do it alone, right? No one should do it alone.
No. And they'll give you, because it's not their business, they give you support that is not biased. Because everything that I think is from my perspective and biased, and I'm like, I see value in this, or this is how I want to do it. But they are a step back, and they'll give you different systems, processes, and advice that will actually look at it without that personal, emotional lens.
Yeah, sometimes you're just too close to it yourself, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so trust your gut, and you don't have to do it alone. Anything else to add to those biggest learnings, those biggest lessons?
Yeah, when it comes to pricing, like, there's some really cool tools out there. I still use Natalie Coombs' pricing calculator tool thing. That's really cool. I got it as something, I can't remember why, but that's actually really cool because she brings in like what it's going to cost as well as, you know, your time and then like your price things in it anyway.
It's like a pricing a project calculator, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
So finding tools to help you. I mean, there's a VA calculator on the Foundry website, which is sort of easier to help you find your hourly rate, which is very good. Nat Coombs pricing calculator for like projects, when you do project work like I do, is really good because there's things that you don't think about. But find tools to help you price and then just price, because you can sit there and second guess forever, and put a markup on everything.
Mm-hmm. So you are actually profitable.
Yeah. Put a markup on everything. I put a 50% markup on everything. Like, it is, yeah. Because the people who want the service and need the service and who value you and your work will pay it. And I know that's hard because it's, you know, it means that you're going to lose people, and we all need to make money, and we all need to pay the bills, and we all need to survive. And it seems like, you know, earning $500 a month is better than earning nothing a month. But that $500 or whatever it is that the effort that you're putting in for that takes up energy, and it, for me, that often feels like energy that I regret spending. Yeah, or resent. I say, but not regret, resent spending time doing.
Yes. Resent. Yeah, and that's when you get to that point, it's all over, I reckon. If you start resenting somebody because they're not, you don't feel like they're valuing you, but you're setting them up for failure because you haven't asked for what you're worth, what you need, all the, you know, all that value that you bring anyway. Self-sabotage.
Yep.
Okay, shall we wrap up this episode here? Sam, any final thoughts?
Oh, look, we're just so proud of you and so privileged. We feel really privileged to have been part of your journey, part of your story. I'm very proud, despite the fact that you've said a couple of times it's taken you a while, or it still took me 6 months. You still bloody well did it. You took the action. You did what it needed to be done, and that's all you, Marianne. And I think Saturday night at the awards was just a big celebration of all of that, and we couldn't be more prouder of you.
Absolutely, yeah. Seeing you come up onto the stage for that VA of the year and just knowing how unexpected it was for you, I was like, it couldn't have gone to anyone better, Marianne. I'm super proud of you having that massive achievement this year.
Thanks.
Oh, did we make you cry? Did we make you cry?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Damn.
Like, can we avoid the tears? I did enough crying on that night.
No, that was a very, very special moment. Your name was called, the fireworks went off, and just your speech and the way you communicate. You're such a natural. So yeah, you did really, really well.
I was like, Toya had been saying for weeks, have you done your speech? Have you done your speech? And I was like, no, I'm not doing a speech because I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to win. Like, it's just. So I now know why she said that.
Always write a speech if you enter the finalist. Well, thank you so much, Marianne, for coming on and chatting. We know that this is going to be super helpful for so many aspiring and current VAs who, especially those who are going through something with chronic pain. Like, thank you for sharing that and being so open about it. But also, you know, the money blocks and the mindset stuff. Like, thank you for being so open about that too.
No problem. It's what it is. But it's good to, it's been really, really cool to be here. Yeah, it wasn't part of my plan. It wasn't, like, none of this has really been part of my plan. It's all just sort of happened. I mean, sure, Mickie Digital was a plan, but the rest of it has sort of just happened, and life did what life does, and I adapted because you have to. So thank you for having me. Thank you for your support and, you know, for the open and honest advice that you gave. I think that was really the key that sort of made some very fundamental shifts in how my business looks today and how it's run today on its back end. And it's also helped me, you know, I don't know if I would have booked a call with Linda if Joe hadn't said that I had to, basically that I had to. You know, so thank you. It has been a journey, and I stick by what I said, and I remember this part on Saturday night, that I don't think, actually, this journey wouldn't have been the same without both of you, and my business wouldn't look like what it looks like today without the support.
Oh, thanks, Marianne. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Sam and Joe VA Show. If you'd like to find out more, head to the VA Foundry website to check out the mastermind and the amazing resources, courses, and coaching.
You can find us at thevafoundry.com.